we will talk about the LivingSoiLL Open Call. And then we will have some time for you to add some questions and answers. In the meantime, you can add these questions into the Q&A feature that you can find in the above bar. But you will also be able to pop your questions alive in the Q&A session. So with no further delays, we will start with introduction to the LivingSoiLL project. Cristina, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Katarina. Good morning, everyone. My goal is to give you a brief introduction of our project, LivingSoiLL. This is a project approved under the Soil Mission, this call, co-creating solutions for soil health in Living Lab. And this project has a lifetime of 54 months. So we are at this moment in the 10 months of the project. Just to give you some overview of our project, this project has a goal of establishing a network of 5 living labs focused on improving soil health in 5 permanent crops: vineyards, olive groves, chestnut, hazelnut, and apple orchards. The goal is to co-create, co-implement, and co-test innovative solutions that foster, restores the soil health in these 5 permanent crops. So we established this partnership from the beginning of the project with 50 partners, under 6 countries, and with a total budget of 12 million. And the goal is to set up 15 experimental sites, and at the end, hopefully, establish 10 lighthouses. I will explain you briefly later what is an experimental site and what is a lighthouse. But this project has a goal also to involve the active participation of more than 2,000 local actors in combating soil degradation through the establishment of this co-creative strategy applied on permanent crops. So this, what is a living lab and what is a lighthouse? I put here some figures of nations. The project has supported the establishment of these calls for soil mission. And a living lab is a collaborative initiative to co-create knowledge and innovation, is user-centered. So we have the farmers in the center of the co-creating process, multi-stakeholder, because we engaged on this. We want to engage also with this open call several different kind of actors within the same goal, and we will test under real life settings and real life conditions of these 5 permanent crops the solutions that will enhance, that we want to enhance soil health, and it will be established at a regional level, as you will see later. A lighthouse is a place, after testing the solutions in the experimental site, at the end is this site in which we will test the solution. If at the end of the project we found that the solutions can really enhance the soil health indicators and also improve the crop performance, so this can be designed as a lighthouse, a place when we can demonstrate how those solutions were implemented in economic basis, how the farmers, they apply it, and so on. It will be a place for peer-to-peer showing the application of the solution. So our 5 living labs are established in these 5 regions. Some of them are transnational, as the Luso-Galician, that include the north of Portugal and north of Spain. This living lab is designed to develop solutions for vineyards and olive groves. In the south of Spain, we have the Andalusian living lab dedicated to olive groves. In France, we have two regions, Loire Valley and Beaujolais, dedicated to vineyards, to study solutions for vineyards. In the northwest, in Italy and in Piedmont region, we have a living lab dedicated to study solutions to apply under 3 permanent crops: vineyards, chestnut, and hazelnut. And finally, in Grójec, the goal is to study this application of solutions to apples. This mistake here is not vineyards, it's apples. So under these 5 permanent crops, the main goal is to reduce the erosion, improve soil structure, reduce the impacts of the intensive use of fertilizer and pesticides, increase water storage, enhance soil biodiversity, and the overall resilience of soil. These 5 living labs have as different goals of soil health challenge under the mission soil objectives. And under the Grójec Living Lab, so dedicated to study solutions on apples, the main challenges were the reduce of soil pollution and enhance restoration, and improve soil literacy in soil society. So I here highlighted the main specific objective that we will address on this project. Involve the several stakeholders from this multi-actor network, reduce gap knowledge and practice about soil health in these 5 living labs, identify and research solutions to solve this soil health problem. And these are some examples of stakeholders that we engage already, and we want to also to bring more with this open call. So farmers, agriculture practitioner, business and innovator in agriculture, educational institution and researchers, policymakers, authorities and regulatory bodies, local communities and residents, and general audience. So just to characterize our living labs, our project so far in terms of consortium, we have gathered here universities, farmers, and as you can see, most our partners are almost 50% of the partners are farmers or representative farmers. So as these stakeholders or these actors are in the center of this project, is very important for us, and that's why we ask in this open call to bring an experimental site to have those farmers in the center of this call. But we have also, of course, the university from several research areas, research institutes, public service administration, consulting, service providers, foundation, and raw materials companies providers. Vines and olives dominate because they are represented in more than one living lab. Of course, in Grójec region, we have from the beginning gathered 6 partners, and we want to engage more with this open call. So more specific objectives, we want to test and validate a combination of integrated solutions for updating and improving soil management. We want to ensure sustainability through economic business models. We want to improve knowledge and increase literacy on soil. And also, we want to propose policy recommendations on best management practices and to adapt these recommendations at the Living Lab level, regional level. So these are the way that the project is organized. And here in this webinar, I will highlight it particularly the 2 work package under which we will work with experimental sites. It's under work package 3, dedicated to monitoring frameworks, baseline setup, and research. Because in this, we will identify soil health problem and solutions that can be tested, and assess soil health indicators before and after applying soil innovative solutions. Under work package 4, we will assess knowledge of partners about soil health, install innovative solutions, and monitor the impact of the application of solutions on soil indicator and on crops. Of course, we have also the work package 5 dedicated to business model to understand which services, which technology, which practices can support the development of these services to promote the sustainability of this living lab after the end of the project. And the communication and the other work package more general in this project. So this is a slide showing which will be the soil health indicator that will be monitored on this project. Metagenomic, general physico-chemical analysis, nutrients, metals, total organic carbon, pesticides, and erosion. So under the 50 experimental sites that will be set up in this project, in each living labs, we will perform the analysis, a baseline first, to understand before applying the solution, how is the soil at the middle of the project for the one who started from the first month of the project. For these partners that come to us in the open call, we will have 2 campaigns, 2 seasons of monitoring these experimental sites at the beginning and at the end of the project. What is an experimental site? So it's a plot or a farm, it can be a plot, in real life settings where the different innovative solutions will be tested. So this is the number of potential experimental sites under each living lab that will be designed. So it was supposed to have in Grójec region living lab 10 experimental sites. It's our goal. And under this, we will co-create these solutions to improve soil health, testing and validating the solutions on these experimental sites under a multidisciplinary approach, engaging in these innovative solutions, promoting soil literacy, collaborating and synergy and promoting synergies between these actors, different actors, co-creating strategy and interacting in this co-creating innovative strategies of this project. So under Grójec region, as I mentioned before, the target is to have 10 experimental sites. The group of Grójec proposed at the proposal phase this, for instance, these practices, but these practices will be discussed under the Living Lab of Grójec to understand which are the soil problems first, and we are at this stage now, and after which solutions can be applied to solve those problems. Here we have an example of a different cover crop management system, mulching, and using agricultural wastes on these living labs. But of course, they will for sure discuss other potential solutions. Here I leave you some examples of cover crop modalities that can be tested: native, sown, mixture of low water needs. For instance, in some living labs, this is really a concern because of climate change impacts. How these cover crops will be managed. Also, it can be a technique, a mechanical technique, so on. Also, assess the impact of using different composts, including vermicompost. Some of the experimental sites of the Luxol Galician will test these innovative solutions. So, main advantage of having more stakeholders participating on this open call, bringing new experimental sites. Collaboration in a very diverse and multidisciplinary network of living labs, because farmers will exchange between not only under their living lab, but also about the results on different living labs. They will exchange with a very diverse multidisciplinary group of researchers. This is very important, with political actors also to adapt these the strategies and the results applied. Exchange about the impact of applying these innovative solutions in different environmental contexts, contribute to development of the business models, and also for the adaptation of political measures to different climate socio-economic related contexts. Here is an example of how the practices should be adapted at the regional level, because this article shows, for instance, that round cover most of the time bring positive results for soil health, but it also need to bring a positive impact also for the crops, because if the farmers are not convinced about the positive impact of the techniques on their crops also, they will not adopt these solutions. So these need to be tested under real life conditions, under different climatic conditions, and also to evaluate the impact on crops. So at the end, our goal is to have these 5 living labs, 5 permanent crops in which we will test these different solutions, established 50 experimental sites, and hopefully to have 10 lighthouses at the end of the project, perhaps more, engaging more than 2,000 local actors. And we would like to, at the end, increase knowledge about and adopting these novel digital solutions for sustainable land management, improve the participation of soil community, enhancing this participatory approach between these different actors, higher involvement of citizen and citizens association in co-creative process, also to improve the soil literacy, establish a strong community of practices making Europe agriculture sector more competitive. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Cristina. So now we give the floor to Joseph, the Living Lab leader of Project Living Lab.
Okay, everybody hear me? Hello?
Yes, we can hear you, Joseph.
Yes?
Yes.
Grójec Living Lab, please, next slide. Yes, now first information, it is locality of the Grójec Living Lab. Can you see here the Mazovian voivodeship, and in south part of the voivodeship is located Grójec Living Lab here, about 50 kilometers south of Warsaw, capital of Poland. So there is really quite big production of apple in Poland. Total production in Poland is about 3 million tons of apples, but in this region, Grójec region is produced about 40% this amount. And also we, from this reason that we have really very big production, total production of apple, export is about more than 50% of production, apple production is exported. So here is some other information. Total area is a little bit over 1,200 kilometers square. Central city, not big city, it is Grójec, about 50,000 citizens. Please, next slide. Now, a few information about this production, apple production in this region. Now, first, basic information is we have to underline that this is very intensive production. Some indicators of the intensity production. First is very high density of apple trees per hectare. Is now approximately 3,000 up to 3,500 apples per 1 hectare. Very high yield. It is 50, 60 tons per hectare apple production. Also is use drip irrigation. Very often with the fertigation, it is being together, is connected water apply with some nutrients. Also, this you can see the special construction which maintain vertical position apple trees. and also is used very often the anti-hail net, protect from hail. Yes, obviously the fertilization, water supply, apply, and Roundup pesticide, herbicide exactly, is applied in row of the trees. Interrow is only as for transportation movement in the orchard. It's not fertilized, not irrigated, is not intensive use. Yes, please, next slide. Now maybe now I put attention on the main challenges, or we can tell in other way, problems or issues in the apple orchards in this region, but not only in this region, but also in other orchards in Poland. So first, it is nutrient imbalance. No, it is a situation when we have not exactly correct content, available form of macro and micronutrients in soil. Both situations, too much and too less available form of these nutrients is not good, because it can influence in the not positive, not good quality and quantity of yield, meaning apple quality quantity, but also if we have situation, opposite situation, it is mean too much nutrients we have in soil. It is situation when we can create the negative impact of fertilization on the environment. Particularly, it is possible by leaching processes, these nutrients, particularly nitrogen, we can cause the eutrophication of water, groundwater, as well surface water in streams, rivers, lakes, and so on. This is, you see, situation that it is very important problem, and to solve this problem, we should use principles fertilization of apple trees. Principles it is that we should know what kind of fertilizer we should use. Second, how much this fertilizer should be used, what doses. Third, it is when we should use, it is means we should adjust applying the fertilization to the stage development of apple trees. And the last one is very important also, is techniques of use these fertilizers. We have different method to the soil, foliar use, and also fertigation. It is mean together with the irrigation. And please remember, notice that in each stage fertilization, all these principles, in each principles, we can make mistake. Yes, maybe next problem. Soil and crop contamination. Now, it is also a problem because we should check present or not in the soil in this region some pesticide residues. It is in soil important content residues occur or not, and in apple also. And also heavy metals, but we don't expect some contamination by heavy metals, but residues of active substances of pesticide, it is also very important. Next challenge, it is decreasing soil organic matter in soil. Now, unfortunately, we notice in Poland, in all soils, not only in the orchard soils, we noticed continuously decreasing content of soil organic matter. Through the last 50 years, according to many authors, investigators, this decreasing is about 10 to 20% in content. Obviously, why it is very important for health of soil in Grójec Living Lab, because organic fertilization in such intensive apple production is difficult to use the organic fertilization, because good applying method, organic fertilizers method, it is, the organic fertilizer should be mixed with the soil. But in the orchards, apple orchards, is so high in raw density of trees that there is very difficult mix of the organic fertilizers with the soil, and it is problem. And next reason why it is so important problem, because the soil organic matter, in other way we can tell humus, indicating very positive influence on all properties of soil. It is meaning chemical, physical, and biological. Finally, we can tell that the content of soil organic matter in soil determining the fertility of the soil, and we can tell healthy of soil. Microbiome, I have time still or not? Hello?
Yes, you can go into the soil microbiome. It's okay.
Yes. Soil microbiome, or other way we can tell soil biology. But it is important how biological activity occur in the apple orchard soil. Because the biological activity is very important, because many processes in the soil is making by the microorganisms, it means bacteria, fungi. And for example, all transformation, creation of humus, or we can tell transformation of organic matter which we supply to the soil. It is meaning mineralization, humification, other processes, nitrification, denitrification, ammonification. All these processes is making by microorganisms, also including the decomposition process of pesticide active substances, because it is also important that if we have very fertile, healthy soil, it is means that the decomposition pesticide active substances is made in short time, and it is also very important. And the active substances are not leaching to the groundwater, surface water, is decomposed directly in the soil. Okay, maybe last slide. It is here is information about our partners. Leader our Living Club is Warsaw University of Life Science. Here is Polish language, and partners Timac Agro, Women in Orchard, Life Biopharma, the fruit, and also the Grójec Orchards Association. Yes, I think that it is all. If you have some question, please.
We will open the Q&A sessions at the end, Joseph. Thank you so much for your presentation. So we'll move on to presenting the open call procedures. You can find the QR code here for you to go immediately to the Open Call webpage of LivingSoiL. You can find all the information that we are going now to present in there. So the LivingSoiL Open Call invites soil-related stakeholders to submit proposals for establishing at least one experimental site and co-design and implement innovative soil health approaches, aiming to strengthen the two living labs. In this case, we are talking about the Grójec Living Lab, to expand the number of actors and experimental sites focus on co-creating solutions for soil health, and to enable all the beneficiaries to gain knowledge, capacity, and implement soil solutions in the experimental sites that they are bringing into the project. Who can apply? So you can apply as a single entity or a consortium composed of two legal entities, in this case established in Poland. And you can be a landlord or a land manager, researcher, industry, public administration, representatives of civil society, and register as legal entities, but you need to bring an experimental site. That's the mandatory definition. We expect that all proposals at the end attain these following outcomes. So the first one is to co-create and implement innovative soil management techniques and practices or technologies to enhance soil health in the new experimental sites brought by the applicant, to maintain active collaboration with the LivingSoiL Consortium, adhering to the governance and leaderships of the living labs that they are integrating, to share data on soil health indicators and the impacts of the new techniques, a minimum of 2 soil campaigns, to contribute to the validation and scale up of sustainable soil management practice, and also to report all the activities performed during the collaboration with the LivingSoiL. So these expected outcomes will be achieved through 3 different deliverables. So the first one is the collection of two soil campaigns. The second is describing the co-creation activities implemented in the experimental site at the end of the collaboration, and for type B projects to develop one plan on sustainable soil management practice and measures to improve the soil health beyond the collaboration with the LivingSoiL project. We have here different eligible activities that you can take as guidance. So the first one is fieldwork activities, and this one is mandatory. So proposals need to have activities related to soil management to enhance soil health and other fieldwork activities that you see relevant. You can also have capacity building and collaboration activities, such as travels related to the project scope, participation in technical meetings, organization of events, workshops, or meetings, and this is also mandatory for type B projects, performing and participation in living lab activities, and other capacity building and collaboration activities relevant to the project. You can also have dissemination and reporting activities, such as awareness raising and communication activities, preparation and collaboration on reports, and other dissemination and reporting activities relevant to the proposed project. So as you can see, we have 2 types of projects that you can apply. Type A projects can go up to 35,000 euros, and Type B projects can go up to 75,000 euros. The difference between these 2 projects, besides the final budget, it's also related to mandatory activities. So for those who are applying to Type B projects, they need to contemplate in their proposals at least 2 types of activities. So the first one is the organization of at least one on-site event, workshop, or meeting dedicated to either capacity building and collaboration or dissemination purposes. And the other is the definition of a plan on sustainable soil management practices and measures to improve soil health behind the collaboration of the LivingSoiL project. For both proposals, you need to include as I said, one experimental site in the Grójec Living Lab region. You also need to include activities related to soil management to enhance soil health, and you need to foresee a collaboration of at least 30 months with LivingSoiLL Project. Of course, this collaboration is mutual, so we foresee that we will receive guidance and assistance in co-creating innovative strategies for implementing and testing these soil management practice and solutions. We also foresee that you will access expertise and tools to monitor soil health indicators. You will also obtain opportunities to collaborate with LivingSoiLL Consortium, as well with the different practitioners of the 5 living labs. And you will be able to participate in different workshops, training sessions, and knowledge sharing activities that will be organized by the project. And of course, we will gain visibility by being able to share results via consortium organized events, publications, or technical meetings. The total amount that we have for the financial support is 400,000 euros, and we aim to support at least 2 proposals in the Grójec Living Lab. So how should you apply? So you need to review all the application requirements that you can find in our website. All the documents are available there. Please take into account the criteria of the evaluation, the research objectives, and the specific requirements. For you to submit your application, you need to complete a form. You have the link in there. It's also on our website, and only submissions via this form will be accepted. All the applications need to be written in English. Other applications written in different languages will be disqualified. Please start preparing in advance, and don't forget to look into our website all the documents. So regarding the submission form, this is a brief overview. So you need to accept the privacy and data protection terms. You need to choose the type of application, the living lab that you are applying to. In this case, the Grójec Living Lab. And of course, you need to choose the type of project, if it is a type A or a type B project. You need to fill the information about your organization or about the consortium that is applying. And then the proposal details. Please answer all mandatory questions and upload the files you see necessary. The budget file, it's necessary and mandatory for you to apply, to submit. Read and accept all the declarations, and then you do the final submission. Regarding the evaluation process, so the first check is about eligibility of the proposals. The proposals will be eligible or not. If not, we will receive a rejection letter. If they are eligible, they will go into a remote evaluation. And this evaluation process means that each proposal will be evaluated by at least 3 senior members of the LivingSoiLL Consortium, one from the coordination institution, UTAD, the other from the institution of the Living Lab, and one from, can be a different research partner of the consortium, of the LivingSoiLL Consortium. Each proposal will be evaluated against 4 different criteria: alignment with the LivingSoiLL scope, also the characteristics of the experimental site, the innovation and potential impact of the proposed activities, the competencies and capabilities of the consortium to develop those activities, and the cost benefit of the activities described. Each of these criteria will be evaluated from 1 to 5, and you need a minimum of 3 to pass the threshold, which means that proposals below 12 will be rejected. After this evaluation, we will have a consensus meeting where all the evaluators will reflect on the scores, and decision will be taken by consensus, or if not possible, by the majority of the votes. So the open call opened last month on 5 of March, and it will be open until the 5th of May. Then we will have a month for the evaluation to happen between the 6th of May and 5th of June. We predict that the proposal results will come out on the 6th of June. The subgrant agreement will be signed on the 30th of June, and you will start your projects in July until November 2028. If you have any questions, you can contact us using this email. And now, of course, you are free to raise your questions both on the QA feature, or if you want, you can turn on your microphones and pop the first question. Raise your hand and then have your questions. So, Premek, please go ahead.
Hi, thanks for the very clear presentation. I have a question about the size of the experimental sites. I actually am from Grójec, and I have a lot of family members who are apple growers. And I was hoping to be able to put together a project with them, but I wanted to there's no mention of how big the site should be. Is there a minimum, a maximum?
There's no minimum or maximum, but Christina, if you want to add something in here.
Yes, I thank you for this question. Is very important to have really the idea of the dimension. We need to apply in these experimental sites a sampling procedure to collect samples that will consider the application of Lucas methodology. We will monitor parameters according to the soil monitoring law, and the sampling procedure was discussed under the work package 3 through University of Porto, who is in charge for this task. And the samples we we consider to take samples until 12 samples per plot. But considering the dimension of this plot, for instance, last week we sampled a plot with between half an hectare and 1 hectare, and we didn't collect the 12 samples because of the dimension of the plot. So I would say that a minimum close to 1 hectare would be ideal, okay? Between half an hectare and 1 hectare because of this, because otherwise we won't be able to monitor, to take samples according to the Lucas procedures. I don't know if I reply, I give you an idea, but at least avoiding plots less than half an hectare. It's better, okay?
Thank you, Christina. So, Bozena, please go ahead.
Hello, good morning. Thank you very much for your presentation. I hope you can hear me.
Yes.
I have a rather technical question. So, if there are two applicants partners, shall they submit two separate Excel files explaining the cost?
If you are applying as a consortium of two legal entities, you submit just one because you will have just one proposal.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
In the submission form, you will have 2 steps to have the 2 legal entities. Christina, please.
Yes, I forgot one important detail. Also, it's very important, our farmers in our Luso-Galician site are concerned, and most of farmers are concerned with the impact of the practices on the crop. So these experimental sites ideally could be divided on 2. In one part of the plot, we will apply these techniques and we will monitor with the sampling procedures. In the other part, we will have the business as usual practices, okay? And taking samples in one part and in this control, we can call it that way. It's not a control, but it will be the place in which we will not apply the technique. We will have the impact also, we will have data on the impact of the crop. So if you want to have a control plot, you need to have a biggest area to test this, to distribute the sampling according also to this, okay? Ideally, 1 hectare could be the best.
Thank you, Christina. We have one question in the QA. So Rafael is asking, as I understand, you will select minimum one project type A and a minimum one project type B. Am I right? No, this is not correct. So we are not aiming to select one project type A and one project type B. So all the projects will be selected according to the criteria, and not if they are type A or type B. I don't know if you have more questions. Please raise your hand if you have questions. You can also find our facts from our previous webinar for the French Living Lab in our website. And we will update the facts today according to your questions. But feel free to ask the questions. Okay. So Premek is asking if anyone interested in working on a proposal together for Grójec. I'm happy to collaborate, and he left the contacts in there. I don't know if Joseph wants to add something in relation to the Living Lab, or Christina, since we do not have any more questions.
I am optimist. I believe that in Grójec Living Lab will be completed maybe a few applicants. Yes, applications will be completed on this open call.
We hope so.
And we will better, easier and wider make the identification of problems, challenges in soil, in apple orchards, and we find effective solutions, innovative solutions to solve these problems.
Thank you, Joseph. If some of you, I'm not sure, but if some of you wants to pop up the question in Polish, it's also allowed, and Joseph can translate it if you need that. Or if you feel more comfortable with that, it's also okay. Okay, I'm not seeing any more questions. I think we had a very clarifying session, so there's no questions. But feel free to come back to us. Feel free to using the email, and we will answer you as soon as possible to your questions. So if there's no more specific questions, I think we can close the webinar here. I just please apply, and feel free to send the questions if you need to have a very very good proposals for us to evaluate. Yeah, so I think we can close the session here, unless Joseph or Christina have anything other to add.
No,
No.
from my side, that's all. Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
so thank you for being present, and see you soon. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye bye. Bye bye.
Bye.